Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Friday, the 19th of February. How are you all doing? Yesterday, I asked you what's missing in your life. What is it that you are really struggling with within this pandemic that you really can't deal with, or you can't have back right now. So, what are you doing to replace that, or to balance out that equilibrium that's missing? Today, I would just like to talk to you about the things that aren't missing. What has come into your life during this pandemic that maybe you weren't aware that you were missing? Something that you are glad that this pandemic has brought into your life. Now, you might think I'm absolutely nuts, and I completely understand that. How can something good be coming out of this pandemic? Well, one thing, and I know it seems silly, but one thing this pandemic has done is it has caused me, both as a priest and as a person, to to really look myself in the mirror and become aware of what a technophobe I am. I'm not just technologically impaired, like slow to go, but I'm really like scared of it. I'm like other people may have, issues um, about sizeism or ageism or racism or something. I have a thing about technoism. I don't, I didn't think I liked technology. I got so frustrated all those times when I was growing up. We'll put it this way, 21 years ago, 1999, when I was backing up even further. In 1996, I started my master's degree, Master of Divinity, and I had done my whole bachelor's degree in English language and literature, which was 4 years of writing essays. I did it all on an old-fashioned typewriter. Now, mind you, it was electric, but it was a typewriter. It didn't have error correct and things like that. If I made a mistake, we started over. I didn't get a computer itself until I started my master's degree. And even at that, my little sister, who at the time I think was like 17, had to teach me how to set it up, like turn it on. And then I discovered little by little how to do things. Biggest excitement was when I learned I could play a CD, of like a music CD, in my computer, because I didn't even have a CD player. I had tape decks. I know I'm a dinosaur. But I went all the way through my master's degree with this computer. And then in 1999, when I was ordained, I realized when I moved out and was on my own in the first rectory, I realized I have to have internet. Email is kind of an essential thing. And oh heavens, I had dial-up, I had email, and I might have 5 emails a week. Everything we got from the church, from the diocese, was paper. It was sent once a month in a big yellow envelope, big excitement. That was when we found out who was moving where and when services would be and who was being ordained, and all of the exciting stuff happened. But almost nothing was done on email. 5 years later, same email address, same dial-up, moved to a different city, third parish. I was in Sarnia, still had dial-up. Rob and I were married by then. He had a computer too, but mine was the only one hooked up to internet. And emails were coming through every day, rather than just a few times a week. They're getting a couple a day. Parishioners, the more business savvy parishioners, they were using email. No big deal. So I take a hiatus. I go to Borden. I'm a stay-at-home priest for a couple of years, volunteering, using email to reach out to family. I think we had high speed by then, with a modem that works like internet, like Wi-Fi throughout the house, throughout our PMQ. But then when we moved to Halifax, and realized I need to learn how to use this, because we had Wi-Fi at the church, and I had to have Wi-Fi at the rectory, and I realized pretty much everybody in my congregation used internet, like used the email as their way of doing this. We also discovered fairly quickly that we needed to get cell phones. We didn't even have cell phones then, so we got iPhones, and wasn't that cool? You could play games, you could, send an email. Well, since then, we have graduated to having Apple Watches, we have laptops, we have internet all over the place. We're on, after many years of iPhones, we're on our third or fourth generation of iPhone. I'm still learning. I am still trying to figure out how to do Facebook well. I'm getting better. Instagram, I have an account. I can't figure out how to use it, and I forget to check it. LinkedIn, I've started. I'm working on it, but I don't have a lot of time for it. Twitter, I think I have like 7 followers, but eventually I have it because if I don't have it at all, then I can't use it. And you never know. It may be like Facebook used to be the big be all and end all, and now it's not. Although I'm trying to use it anyway. Twitter might become important, so I have it. And now YouTube. Before this pandemic, I was a grump about technology. I couldn't stand it. Didn't like it. Didn't like how much time I had spent on it. My phone keeps giving me these weekly updates of how much screen time I have. It's disturbingly high. It's scary. But I'm realizing that this pandemic has forced me to recognize, if not get caught up with the rest of the world, it's forced me to recognize that just because something is new and something is different, and even if something is threatening, doesn't mean it's bad. It is a tool that I can use to communicate with other people. It's a tool through which I can research sermons, or I can look up information, or order Chinese delivery. I can find postal codes when I don't have them and I'm trying to mail something out. The internet, technology, all of these electronic things that we have in our lives, they are tools that we can use. Now the problem comes, and this is I think where my phobia comes in. The problem comes when we allow the tools to make us tools for them. I'm not a big fan of these Google Alexa stuff and where, your camera can be watching you all the time or everything in your house is hooked up. I mean, looking at Texas right now, they've been hit by snowstorms, which they never see. Their electrical grid has gone down. So what happens to your heat and your hydro, your security system, all of these things that if you've run them all off your artificial intelligence, when the electricity goes out and when the satellites are down, all of your artificial intelligence goes away. You can only charge your phone so often from your car. We need to find that balance of where technology is an assistance to us and not cross over to where we become dependent on technology, where technology runs our lives. So that has been a gift to me during this pandemic, figuring out that I need to set aside my phobia as much as if I was homophobic or if I was agoraphobic or if I was a racist or anything else. Those would be things I would have to seriously, well, I probably still do. I imagine I have all of these things within me that I just haven't realized and dealt with yet. I don't think they're problems. My technophobia was a problem. I have to take the time to realize, how are these things relating to me in my life, and how do I learn to work with them? How do I learn to acknowledge my failings and then learn how to deal with getting better at things? So I'm trying. Yesterday, our Zoom group, God bless them, we got the video to work but couldn't figure out how to screen share the documents I wanted to share, but they were all great, and had everything they needed. God help us if we ever have to go into breakout groups. I will learn. I will become proficient at Zoom throughout this, I promise. But the fact is that there are things that are missing from our lives because of the pandemic. There are things in our lives that we can pick up because of it. That God can say to us, you know what? Okay, so the road we were walking on that was supposed to go this way went sideways fast. That doesn't mean we stop walking. It just means that the scenery we see, the lessons we can learn, the opportunities we have are just completely different than if we had continued walking this way. So for me, it has been learning about technology and learning about myself and technology and how I can grow through this pandemic. So what about you? What kinds of things are you learning about yourself? What kinds of things are you facing up to? What challenges have you taken on to learn? Are you learning how to bake bread? Are you knitting more? Are you sewing? Are you cleaning your house? Are you meditating? Are you praying? Are you getting closer to God? These are all great things to think about. We have the time. And if we're too busy doing other things for other people, then it seems to me we need to make the time. So Yesterday I talked about what's missing because of the pandemic. What has the pandemic given to you? What are your pandemic gifts? Have a great weekend as you ponder that question. I will see you on Sunday for first Sunday in Lent, and I pray you have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday for Church at Home with Rachel. Please stay safe, stay warm, stay home. If you have to go out, please wear your mask. And God bless you all. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.